Some paintings depict history, other paintings make history. The death of General Wolfe did both. When it was first shown at the London Royal Academy in 1771, it was loved by so many that it became one of the most reproduced images of the time and made an impression on the King of England. The King of England at the time was George III, and he appointed the artist as his historical painter to the court and paid him thousands of pounds a year to paint the portrait of the family. But what made this painting such a sensation? The subject of this painting was James Wolfe, who was a tragic hero of the British Empire, the brave general who 12 years before this painting had defeated the French at the Plains of Abraham in Quebec. For the British, it was glorious victory, but their hero Wolfe had died in battle. Few people would have complained that Benjamin West had not done his subject justice. It's an entire history lesson, an epic picture that compresses the whole of the raging battle into a single image. From the British ships on the St. Lawrence River that unloaded the British troops who stormed the cliffs during the dark night hours to the final surrender under the light of dawn, shown here by the British American Ranger. The soldier dressed in green and wearing beaded leggings who was pointing to a British soldier running towards the general, madly waving his hat and triumphantly holding the white flag of truce. The French have surrendered, symbolic of the news relayed to the dying Wolfe that the French were being defeated, and the French general has been fatally wounded. That's the miniature figure falling off his horse under the lightning morning sky. There is even a bit of a geography lesson. The ranger and the Native American warrior below him are there to remind the viewer the battle took place in the colonies of the New World. Of course, it's not real history. There were no photographers there to document the scene, and it's unlikely that the dying general would have been surrounded by his senior officers. After all, they were a little busy fighting a battle rather than its myth-making, and part of the painting's sensational reception was the style used to paint it. Benjamin West was a British subject born in the American colonies. Before arriving in London, he spent a few years studying art in Italy. There he learned a just emerging style of painting based on the classical art and architecture of the Greeks and Romans. This neoclassical style strived to achieve the pure or ideal art of those earlier times. Take a look at the main group in the foreground, the fatally wounded general surrounded by soldiers. The figures of the men are precise and detailed. The colors are sharp and clear. Look at how bright the red of Wolfe's uniform stands out. Now compare that to the background. The colors are muted, and the figures are smaller and less precise to create some illusion of depth. These techniques create an effect similar to that of low relief sculpture, like this, which had been common in the classical Roman art. The composition of the main group was adapted from other works. Notice how the flag and the group of soldiers surrounding Wolfe create a visual triangle that leads the eye to the general's face. It's a composition that was often used in religious scenes, especially in depictions of the death of Jesus. The artist used models from the past, but in a new way. Still, it wasn't just a heroic subject and the neoclassical style that made this painting so sensational. It may sound funny today, but the controversy was about how the people were dressed up. Until then, people in historical paintings had been shown in the nude or dressed in the classical style of the Greeks and Romans. For instance, do you recognize this fellow? That's General Wolfe himself. The sculpture was done at about the same time as the painting. Though he was warned not to, Benjamin West broke with tradition and painted his soldiers in their actual military uniforms. It was a daring decision and sparked a huge controversy and debate. The death of General Wolfe is currently in the collection of the National Gallery of Canada, the Royal Ontario Museum, as well as the Clements Library at the University of Michigan.